wellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives.
You're listening to A Quirky Journey, the healthy family podcast with your hosts Jo Whitten and Fouad Kassab.
Hello and welcome to A Quirky Journey. This is Fouad Kassab and with me I have Jo Whitten. Hi Jo.
Hello.
Alright, so you know how this podcast started off with Jo being on her GAPS journey. And she said, Fouad, my child, he's going anxious and crazy. And I said, but you get. And she's like, GAPS. I'm like, yeah, I've got the perfect person for you. And then I put you in touch with Leah. And Yep. And then the whole GAPS started the whole thing, right?
Yep.
We're on another GAPS journey.
We are.
This is me.
Woohoo! It's Fouad's turn.
Oh my God.
And this is Fouad a year ago. I don't need GAPS. I'm not going off dairy. I refuse to go off dairy.
Yes, I still haven't gone off dairy, but I'm having.
You went off for a few days, didn't you?
Yeah, I did for a few days. But so let me begin by sharing what happened, maybe so that the listeners can have a little bit of a background and sort of understand why I've had to go from a beautiful, nutritionally dense paleo style diet back to something a little bit more restrictive like GAPS. And the listeners would have a bit of an idea about my background and all the health problems I've faced throughout my life. And these are things that I continue to work on every day. I always try to look after my health all the time. And I've never really fully healed. And I'm not sure whether that's even possible with all the damage that was done in the 30-something years that I was eating a conventional diet and having all these antibiotics and things like that. So I recognize that there's going to be some stuff that will take longer to heal, and the years keep passing, and I'm aging, and as you age, things aren't as quick anymore. So
we don't want to talk about aging.
No, well,
it's my birthday soon. Let's not talk about that.
And mine too.
Oh, it is too.
We're 2 weeks apart. Stop our birthdays and divide them, and then we'll be
just have the same birthday.
Just have the same birthday.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. But that means I have to be if we average our ages, I have to be like 16 years older now, Jo, or something like that.
Hey.
Sorry. I don't mean to be mean to Jo. I know you all love her and you don't like me.
But don't worry, I'm used to it.
Yeah, it's just playing around. All right. So, my birthday's coming up, 1st of May.
Yep. Mine's 15th of April.
I was born is it the 30? How many days are there in April?
30 days have September, April, June, and November. 30.
30 days. Beautiful. I was born on the 30th of April. But my
so really,
dad,
we're both April.
Yeah, seriously. And my dad, he's like, the 1st of May is a public holiday in them. It's Labor Day. And he's like, I want to give my son a holiday in his honor. So he changed my date of birth to be the 1st of May.
That's awesome. My kids would love that if they had a holiday for their birthday, because they always, every year they try to wangle a day off school for their birthday. I'm like, no, it's a birthday. Everyone goes to school on their birthday. You have to do school. They're like, no, Mom.
So I for years, all my life actually, until I came to Australia, it was Fouad Day on the 1st of May. I never had. So.
Well, I was born on the day that tax returns have to be in US, and my dad welcomed me into the world with, "Hello, you little tax deduction, you."
Oh my God! Yeah, wow.
Anyway, we got off track there.
No. So,
where were we?
I was talking about what happened with me.
Yeah.
So over this year, and from the beginning of the year, I've been really trying to pay attention to everything that I eat and trying to listen to what my body's telling me so that I can continue to improve on my health. So one of the things that I've noticed, and as a lot of you also would know, that I deal with chronic but mild body pain, and I've been trying different things to get over it. And I've noticed that drinking coffee always gives me a lot of tension in my body, and I shrug my shoulders and I walk around, feel like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. And I decided when my last kilo of coffee ran out to just not have coffee anymore for a while and just see what happens. So I quit coffee.
He cried a lot.
On the third day, I was so emotional.
Oh, I was joking. Sorry. I forgot about that. You did get emotional.
Thanks for telling people that I cried.
I just meant that you kept saying, Joe, don't talk to me about coffee. I hate you if I mentioned it.
I mean, coffee is one of those things that, like, ritualistically, it's probably the only ceremony we have in our life, you know? Like,
you get up, you have coffee.
Coffee, that's it, you know?
Yeah.
We're friends, Coffee and I, or I thought we were friends until I knew the bitter truth. And it was bitter. It was a bitter truth. Like, first of all, our withdrawals were terrible. Like, I had fatigue, I had muscle pain. Day 3, I was emotional. Jo was showing the cookbook to one of the chefs that she met up in the Atherton Tablelands, and he read it and he gave her good feedback about what we've written. And she told me the feedback, and I got all emotional and my eyes went teary. It never happened. I'm a man's man, Joe. Never happens to me.
No, never. Fouad never gets teary, ever. Except when he doesn't drink coffee.
And I was like, oh, thank you, that's so nice. So the whole year of work paid off. And honestly, I was like extremely emotionally fluctuating from like extremes. And it reminded me of many, you know, like, I don't know, probably shouldn't say that. But anyway.
I know what you were about to say.
Yes. So, moving on. The week passed, and the muscle aches and the flu symptoms went away, but I had this fatigue that just would not leave me. Like, I would wake up in the morning and not have my coffee, and then I'd feel sleepy, and I'd eat and I'd feel tired. My head was foggy, my energy was low. I felt really, really bad, and I was just really surprised. I was constantly going, what's happening? Like, the coffee's gone, what's happening? And
how many years have you been drinking coffee?
I've been drinking coffee every day, except, you know, when I get a cold or a flu, I go off coffee.
Right.
That's just, my body just doesn't want it at that point. So I've been drinking probably ever since I was, I'll say 16 years. 16 years of drinking coffee. 16 and a half years of daily coffee. No other food has been so consistent in my diet.
So that's like 20 years. Now I've told them how old you are. Whoops.
Yeah, I was 20 years old when I first really seriously started drinking coffee. And, 20 beautiful years with wonderful memories of coffee. But
and how much did you drink a day?
It fluctuated. Like, when I was working in IT and I was in an office, I would drink maybe 3 or 4
strong coffees.
Yeah,
you drink it strong.
I like strong coffee. I like the flavor. Honestly, like, it's not the body feeling that I get out. I just love
the flavor
like,
and the smell.
I
know. Tell me about it.
So I discovered that chamomile tea is just perfectly as amazing as coffee. It's not.
Really?
No,
not quite the same.
Nothing like it. No. But so this led me down the path of going, what's happening to me? Why is my body reacting so badly? But I did notice an improvement in my muscle tension and an improvement in the body aches that I was having. And I thought, all right, well, it definitely was contributing to something. So I'm not going to go back onto the coffee, and I'm going to see what's happening. But I feel there's an underlying issue. And my diagnosis was my adrenals have been pushed by the coffee every morning in my life to over the form, and my body has been put into a debt what is known as adrenal fatigue, and that the body aches that I was experiencing were a result of some kind of low, like an autoimmune that's not very, very strong. I thought that's what's probably there's an underlying cause with autoimmune and some adrenal fatigue. So gut health, adrenal health, and I've got issues with autoimmune. So I went to see a naturopath, and I had a chat to her, and right off the bat she said, "Oh, it sounds like some kind of autoimmune. It sounds like adrenal fatigue." I'm like, yep. And she put me on to a doctor who did a whole suite of blood tests, and it showed two interesting things. One is I was off the charts in terms of my allergy reaction to dust mites. Like the highest he'd ever seen was 1,000. Mine was 4,000.
Wow.
And he was just looking at me in amazement, Of course, because I'm handsome and everything. No,
that's why he was looking at you in amazement.
Because 4,000 is just crazy. It's a crazy number, and he'd never seen anything like it. And the other thing showed also a low level of autoimmune in my body, and it was non-specific. So I don't have like lupus or Hashimoto's or anything like that. Non-specific, and he was really. He's an excellent doctor. He said because of the way that I live my life and my lifestyle, that what other people would be experiencing as severe autoimmune, I've managed to keep it under control with my diet. So I imagine if I was still 128 kilos eating gluten, sugar, and
you'd be in hospital.
I'd probably be on immune suppressants.
Yeah, you would.
So anyway, I told my mom, and my mom started crying. And
mums always blame themselves.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, and
we do.
And she really, I was lying to her, and that there was a more severe issue that I'm not telling her, and all that. But anyway, my wife and I have been eating gaps. She's been half gaps. She's still eating some of the stuff, but she's introduced a lot of the foods that I'm eating, and I've been trying to get on top of this thing for 3+ weeks now. It's maybe 4 weeks, coming up to 4. Yeah, today's chat is about that. But before that, I'm sitting in a room with 600 copies of life-changing food. It just arrived today at my office.
I'm surprised you hadn't mentioned that yet. He sent me a little video of opening the first box. Woo! So exciting.
Oh, man, what a journey this book has been, hey? It's been crazy. And I looked into every recipe that we've written. I've read the book cover to cover, and I'm so proud of it. It's just absolutely beautiful. Joe, really, we've done something that a lot of people are going to benefit from. It's going to help so many people get on the right track with health. Even now on my GAPS journey, there are a lot of recipes that I can still use, and
at least half the book is GAPS, and then a lot of the recipes that are in there have variations to make them suitable for GAPS. As many, like most of the recipes, you can work out for the GAPS diet. So
the cookbook is out, guys, and by the time you listen to this, is that tomorrow, Joe? Is that?
Yeah, we put it up tomorrow, so they'll be sending them out.
They'll be sending them out. There's 7,000 copies to be sent out, and it's going to take them. They're going to be able to send out 1,000 per day, so all the back orders, and then after that, orders will get shipped the next day after they get ordered. So if you guys haven't ordered yet, go ahead and do it now so you can get the book as soon as possible, and you're gonna love it.
Really are. I just can't wait to see people's reactions, because I know when we got it, like we've been working on this book for a year, but when we got it, we were both just blown away at how beautiful it is, weren't we?
Yeah, and apart from my children, I think this is the most beautiful thing I've ever. Yeah, Joe, congratulations. And
congratulations to you too. First book, Fouad.
Yeah, I know. I published it. Bestseller as well.
Bestseller already.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of it.
So now we need a book party, birthday party combined.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we just do it? Shall we just do like a gut health retreat?
The gut health retreat part.
Birthday party, book launch, gut health retreat, all in one at the end of this month. Yeah.
We're not going to be able to make any cakes, though, are we?
Could do a GAPS cake.
Probably do a GAPS cake.
I think we need a GAPS cake.
Better hurry up with this GAP stuff and be able to eat almond meal before
Otherwise, you'll have a frozen sour cream and avocado cake.
Oh, that sounds good.
Amazing. I'm sure you can think of something with that, Fouad. Come on.
That's an amazing cake.
Okay,
just
good.
Avocado, honey,
lemon
sour,
or lime,
gelatin.
Yeah.
Just cook it together. Set it in a beautiful, like panna cotta style.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds
few
good.
egg yolks in there as well. Whip it up. Just give it a little air, just so that it's a little bit more airy. When you eat it, like it's creamy.
Okay, get onto it.
Yeah, we can do another cookbook soon.
I've done a like a pumpkin pudding kind of thing similar to that, and it's it tastes well. I must admit, it does. I did put like cinnamon and nutmeg in it, which you can't have yet, but it tastes like pumpkin pie filling. It's so good.
I'll tell you what, on GAPS, my taste buds are so finely tuned now to flavor that I don't need spices.
I told you that when I was on the start of GAPS, and you're going, it's so boring. How can you eat this food without all the spices and herbs? I'm like, no, it honestly tastes really good.
Like I can eat and I'll tell you, I'm chewing like dark meat versus white meat now. It's sort of that kind of.
You get really, your taste buds just get really sensitive almost. Like you can just, everything tastes amazing.
Yes.
Like my kids, when we brought pumpkin in, when we brought, what was it that we brought in? I think it was when we started having roasted pumpkin, and they never really liked pumpkin that much. And then when we started having roasted pumpkin, they were just like over the moon with the flavour and just raved about it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
I think I'm going to make like a yogurt and pumpkin custard.
I think that sounds very good.
Yeah, so I'm starting to experiment because I'm feeling better today. As you can tell, Jo, I'm much higher in my energy levels.
Oh, that's good.
Before.
Yeah, so you should mention that, how you felt during the first few weeks.
Yeah, so I decided to go on GAPS because it's just the most logical diet to go on, of course, when you have autoimmune. This is
when you need to do the deep healing. Not the maintenance.
I've got autoimmune, that's where you start. You start with GAPS, as far as I'm concerned. It's not medical advice. This is just my personal opinion here.
Yeah.
And from all the research that I've done. And I'm not going to be wasting my time with anything else if I didn't know that this was going to be the thing that helps me heal. Mm-hmm. So I straight in jumped into GAPS. And the first stage of GAPS is sort of the more restrictive one. All you get is some leafy green vegetables, non-starchy vegetables apart from pumpkin. You can have pumpkin and lots and lots of broth.
And carrots and onion and...
so non-starchy vegetables. Yeah. And so by starchy vegetables, I mean you can have potatoes or sweet potatoes, things like that.
But what people need, if anyone's new to GAPS listening to this, you can have carbs. It's not a low-carb diet. It's specific carbs that you can have. Yeah.
So the idea is to give the body specific types of carbohydrates that doesn't really burden the system too much to digest, and make the food as easy as possible to digest so that the gut can get a little bit of a break while getting nutrition. Correct, Jo?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want the long sugar strands that take a lot of work for the gut to break down. One thing I've really noticed with people that are sick, people with autoimmune diseases, people with all sorts of like Lyme's disease, things like that, where they're really struggling to digest their food. One of the first things you notice with them is they'll have a meal and then they'll feel really exhausted afterwards, and it'll take them, it's like eating just really tires them out, and that's a big sign that your gut is struggling and you really need to go back to the non-starchy foods, the foods that are just going to be so easy to digest because your body's taking all your energy to digest them otherwise.
Yes, so I even find that now, like if I like today I had eggs for the first time.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, you had egg white, didn't you?
Egg white, yeah. And I felt a little bit sluggish after lunch.
You know, one thing I read actually today, I was going through some of the question and answer sessions that we've done with GAPS coaches and practitioners in our gut health program. And one of the things that they mentioned was if you have histamine issues, it might be good to wait on the egg whites. Sorry, I just wanted to tell you that.
Oh, that's good. So I'll wait. I only had one egg white on the 4 eggs. So
taking it slow.
Yeah, it's not gonna kill me. Yeah. But look, I'm in an okay place. Like I'm not actually. I don't feel as sick as a lot of people in the program.
No, that's right. And the histamine issues you're having is just a little bit sneezy, isn't it?
Well, it's at night I get like an itchy throat and a little bit of an asthmatic kind of breathing, and that's since I think I quit coffee that's become more pronounced. And
interesting.
Coffee does have like antihistamine activity. So I know from when I used to have histamine issues back in the day, like really severe stuff, like watery eyes, blocked nose all the time. I used to reach for the coffee, and like I think that dilation, like it just would dilate.
Actually, you're right, because I've found the same thing when I've woken up with the really itchy eyes and stuff. You sort of find and really tired from the histamines. The coffee does help, doesn't it?
It does, but unfortunately,
it's a short-term thing.
Yeah, it does the adrenals no good.
It's not healing you. It's just covering up. It's masking the issue.
6 in the morning, I used to have it like on an empty stomach and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I'll just tell you what Mary Kelly said about egg whites. She said egg whites aren't just high in histamine, they're also classified as histamine liberators. So they cause the body to release stored histamines. You can test it on your arm overnight and do a small test, but go slowly with them if you have histamine issues.
So put it on my hand,
on your arm. So there's an allergy test that they talk about that Dr. Natasha talks about in the GAPS book. So you put a little bit of the food that you're worried about on your skin and leave it to see if it causes a red patch. And if it doesn't, then I think you put a bit on your lip. And there's a protocol that you follow if you're really checking if something bothers you. So it's in the book. I'll have to go back and read exactly how it works. But yeah, do the skin test first. Yeah.
So I'll give that a shot then. I just went in with the eggs anyway. I'm feeling fine.
Yeah.
I'm feeling fine.
It's not like a major issue, but
but I did go through like these few weeks have been easy and difficult. Some days are easy, some days are difficult.
Yeah, some days you're like, I'm feeling so good on this diet, and then the next day you're like, why am I so tired?
Yeah, like one day I went running once for a beautiful run. I was like, wow. And it felt great because one thing that's happened, which is a clear sign that things are going well, is that my body pain has reduced by like 50 to 60%.
That's amazing in that short a time.
Yeah, and this is something I've been dealing with for a long time. So just through diet, that's going down. Less inflammation in my fascia and my muscles. That's going down. Also lost 5 kilos in the past 4 weeks.
That's good.
And that's also inflammation. And feeling really good. My head's much clearer, and I'm feeling even better in my body. My energy level is a little bit low, but day after day, and this is, I think, the biggest thing for me, apart from the diet, has been sleep. And if I manage to get a decent night's sleep, and what that means is not just like the hours, like I have to be ritualistic about my sleep now.
Yeah.
I have to wind down, I have to turn the lights off, I have to not watch any telly.
That's what we found with Isaac.
Yeah, it's just I've had to be strict about it, and when I get a good night's sleep, the next day is way, way better. But like my sleep has become broken, and it's been broken for 4 weeks. Like I'll get nights where like I woke up this morning at 3 a.m. and I probably couldn't go back to sleep until 4. So, but that's better than it was before. And also, a good tip, Joe, is the soupy meals for breakfast and lunch. Don't have the soup as much for dinner.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to go to the toilet too much during the night. You wake up 3-4 times.
Oh, yeah. And don't have the hot drinks. Like, right, this is what Isaac, like his comfort thing at night was always have a cup of tea before bed kind of thing. You know, back when we started GAPS, it was more the ginger tea and stuff. But now he has a decaf organic black tea. And I'm always having to tell him, don't have it right before bed, because he ends up getting up and then it wrecks his sleep. He can't go back to sleep for ages. Yeah.
That's definitely going to be an issue. So that's a good tip for people. If you're on gas, just keep the liquids to a minimum for the evening meal.
I think another thing too, when you're eating soups and things, you feel like you're getting a lot of liquids. So you think, I don't need to drink you don't maybe think about it, but you don't drink as much during the day. And I found by the end of the day, then I'd suddenly be really thirsty and I'd have to drink and drink and drink, and then that messes up your sleep. So make sure you're drinking throughout the day, drinking water, and don't just rely on the broths for your liquid, because they are salty, and I don't think it's quite the same as drinking water.
Yeah, well, I've been okay with hydration.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
drinking as much, of course, because I am drinking a lot of broth, but I guess it's individual maybe with that.
I think I like.
I do have the tea, so like maybe the tea
that helps.
Yeah. So this is where I'm at now. Week 4. I'm aiming to progress to stage 3, where I can introduce egg whites and walnuts. I got some walnuts. I need to soak and dehydrate them. And my dehydrator broke though, Joe. So. Dehydrate them just by like body heat.
Stick them out in the sun, do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. Well, maybe in Queensland you can do that. Sydney's just too unpredictable at the moment.
No, it is here too. It's raining today.
But like I was talking to my mom and she's really worried. And I said, Mom, like to me, like I'm actually really excited that I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And it's to me, like being in the space that I am and having the privilege to talk to people about their health and going through their own journey, people need to hear from someone who's been on something similar.
Yeah.
And so that's one aspect. And
I'm really happy you're doing it, because I'm like, well, you're going to be much more help to me with the gut health program now.
Yeah. Well, it's been a very practical learning curve. It's very different to when you read about it.
Yeah.
I figured out that, even though the advice is giving people advice about starting GAPS around Christmas, I think that in the Southern Hemisphere, that should be right after Easter rather than Christmas.
It's too hot at Christmas, isn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. Like
all
we had
those broths.
Days and I just couldn't handle the soup.
Yeah.
I'm like, really drinking that. And the reason why we drink so much soup as well, apart from the easy to digest kind of thing, is because it's very, like bone broth is very, very healing for the gut, and it helps the gut lining rebuild itself. So we try to have as much bone broth in our diet as possible on GAPS and to keep food in it. But it means that all our food is cooked and hot. Like today was the first time I had something that is not cooked, which was a half avocado.
Woo.
And, and I had made my own sour cream, which came out just like the most beautiful English clotted cream with like go to facebook.com/Fouad Kassab Health and you see a photo of it. It's
so good. Just eat it off the spoon.
Yeah, it's just like so rich. So I love it. So
lucky you, because it took me nearly a year before I could have that. But most people can bring it in pretty soon. I was just never good with dairy, and now I am. Yay!
Love it. It's a good place to be with dairy.
Can I talk a bit about stage 1 before we...
Sure.
And then, I get a lot of questions, or we get a lot of questions about how do I know when to move on from stage 1 to stage 2? I think the early stages, people are really scared to move on, and sometimes they actually stay a bit long on stage 1. And you just need to realize, if any of you are listening and you're starting GAPS, you can move from stage 1 to stage 2 at any time. You don't need to stay longer than 3 to 4 days unless you have watery diarrhea. If you just have a bit of loose stools, don't worry, just move on. But if you've got really watery diarrhea, then you need to stay on stage 1 for longer. But stage 1 is actually a fasting stage. So the reason with the meat, really basic vegetables and broth, they consider that a fasting stage. And what it does is during the fasting, it's breaking the bad neuropathways that were established between the brain and the pathogenic bacteria, and it reestablishes the connection between the gut and the brain. And once that's reestablished, the gut will tell the brain what it needs, and your body will start to crave the foods you need. And you'll find oftentimes, like especially with kids, on stage 1, they refuse to eat quite often. They'll go off their food. Did you go off your food a bit? Did you not feel hungry as much in stage 1, or how did you go, Fouad?
I felt really hungry.
You felt really hungry. Okay. Yeah. Some people, especially kids, I think they refuse to eat because at first they just don't want that food, especially if they're addicted to carbs, which you weren't. So that may be different.
Yes.
But that bacteria is screaming out for the sugar, and you've got to break that link, break that habit. And so that's what stage 1 does. And it's just really important if you've got kids on stage 1 to keep them hydrated. And they will go back onto their food, like especially once you go onto stage 2 and start getting the egg yolks in and stuff, they will go back on their food. But at first it can be difficult.
Yeah, I can't imagine, like putting a child on this and having it be easy.
No.
It's definitely a diet that brings challenges. It's not a diet that you go into haphazardly. You have to be ready for it.
You do.
But the results have been, miraculous.
Consistently miraculous for so many people.
So many people.
But the thing is, if you're having major struggles and you're starting GAPS and you're worried, get a GAPS practitioner or a coach, a really good one that knows what they're doing and has been through it themselves. That makes all the difference.
Absolutely. Having access to Mary and the program, just asking those questions on Sunday, and at least just having, those of you who don't know, we've got an online gut health program at gaps.quirkycooking.com.au, and it teaches you how to cook for GAPS, how to plan your meals for GAPS, and there's a lot of tutorials and discussions about how you can make GAPS work for you. But we also have a Facebook support group with over 1,000. Well, how many now, Jo?
In the support group, I don't know, it might be around 800. 800
people,
something like that.
Yep. And there are people who are on the journey of GAPS, and they support you through the journey. A lot of them are more advanced than where you'd be starting, so a lot of questions they'll be able to answer for you. But we also get a health coach or a GAPS coach on a Sunday night to answer any more difficult questions for people.
Yeah.
And being able to do that with Elise and Mary, just having someone that I can ask and get a really good answer just really helps a lot.
It does.
You do start wondering all sorts of things, because you go how much pumpkin can I eat? Even that question. You need someone who can say you can eat as much as you want. Just don't worry about how much you're eating. For now, focus on the healing. And this is the thing about GAPS: it's a diet focused on healing rather than weight loss or any other usual diet that people go on. This one is meant to heal your body, and it's been doing that really, really well for me. And I'm so happy I'm doing it. It's just every day is getting better now.
I think another question that people ask on stage 1 a lot is, can I continue with my medication, or herbal medicine, or Pyrol's medication, or whatever they've been taking, whatever supplements. A lot of people do continue with their medications, depending what it is, but you would obviously not want to go off anything that was like antidepressants or, blood pressure medication or whatever. If you're on serious medication, you would want to make sure that you don't go off unless you've got a practitioner working through it with you. Don't just randomly go off all your medication and go, well, I'm going to do GAPS now. there's...
I still have herbal supplements in my diet.
And people still take Pyrrol's medication on intro. We still had Isaac on antidepressants at first, like we've mentioned before. But what people often do is as they move through intro nice and slowly, they find that they can eventually reduce medication. This is the same with people with pain medication for autoimmune disease, all of these things. You often can wean off as you go through it. And by the time we got to less than a year, Isaac was off all his medication. Anne-Marie is a member of our gut health support group, and she's written her story, and Mary Kelly has posted it on her blog, Good Mood Food. And if any of you are interested in reading about working through GAPS with autoimmune disease, her story is fascinating because she was in a lot of pain and on a lot of medication, and she's been able to wean off the medication on GAPS, and I think she's less than a year along. So,
yeah, it's a story. Joe sent it to me to read, to give me like a little bit of motivation. There's going to be some light at the end of the tunnel.
We should get Anne-Marie on here sometime, shouldn't we?
Yeah, it's a fascinating story, and I think one of the things that could be difficult in terms of your morale about GAPS is it's open-ended. Like, I just don't know when they're going to be off this diet. Like for me, I don't know when I'm going to be able to eat. You kind of want an end date, don't you? You kind of like in a year I'm going to be done, or in 2 years I'm going to be done. That's just, we want it to be. I guess it makes it feel more doable if we know it's not forever. But that's right.
It's so individual.
And what's more important is the benefits that you get on the diet. Like it's so easy to sit back and forget about how bad you were when you first started.
Write it down.
Yeah.
I really encourage people to keep a journal. Write down your symptoms when you start, and you'll be amazed at how much things change over just a few months.
Just body pain is so much better. For that run, like my legs were moving with no resistance. Like one thing that was there before, Joe, is I had really tight fascia. Yeah. And what that caused was, if I say I'm trying to run and lifting my knee up, imagine having tight fascia then. So like muscle is working against its fascial tissue. Yeah. So there's way more energy being expended in my body just to run. There would be if I weren't inflamed. Yeah. So when I'm running after I'd started GAPS for a few weeks, that inflammation had gone all the way down, and I moved my legs in a way I never even knew I could. I really didn't know legs moved that way.
Have you tried climbing a tree again?
I haven't yet, no.
I wonder if you'll be more stretchy.
Yeah, I'm definitely more stretchy. I know that for sure. Yeah, I can sort of bend down, touch my toes, and
that's awesome.
So I'm definitely.
Is that something you've always struggled with, the stiffness, isn't it?
Stiffness, yeah. Just generalized stiffness.
Yeah.
And, it's really good to be no longer there. Yeah. And I used to be much worse before. Like I went on paleo, and now this is even, and then paleo improved, and now GAPS is improving even more. Yeah. So it's great to be on a positive trajectory and making it all, fall into place now for me. So, so like, how cool is it that I found a diet that helps me? Like, and without look into it, like I know from our community how much it's been helpful to people, and just to be able to not have to look for an answer and just do this has been just like a blessing for me. Going back to the medications things, other people have asked about antibiotics. If they've been put onto antibiotics for any reason, is it any use going on to GAPS? Do they need to wait till they finish the antibiotics? Mary actually talked about this in a question and answer session, and she said the best place in the world that you can be if you're on antibiotics is stage 2 GAPS, because it's a very healing stage. And make sure you're taking probiotics every 2 hours after you take the antibiotics to keep the fungus at bay. But it's definitely a very healing stage on stage 2. So you pretty much would want to stay there until you're finished with the antibiotics and then slowly work back up. So that's a good tip. Yeah, that's a great tip.
She does have a really good blog post actually on taking antibiotics and what you can do to help your body heal, because we all know that does decimate the gut bacteria.
For sure. Yeah, a great resource, good mood food.
Yeah. Also, talking about exercise on stage 1 and stage 2, early gaps when you're really tired, the kind of exercise that's recommended is things like walking in the sunshine. Do that as much as you can. Get out in the sunshine. Swimming in the ocean is awesome. But things that get your lymphatic system moving, like swimming, jumping on the trampoline, try to avoid chlorinated pools though, with swimming. Ocean is awesome if you can, or, fresh water. But nothing too cardio or too hard on your muscles, because you'll be using up too much of the minerals that you need. But yeah, that's the recommendation is lots of sun, lots of fresh air, lots of swimming.
Yeah, I find when I follow that advice, I feel much, much better.
Yeah, whenever Isaac's having a bad day, that's always my answer. Come on, outside, let's go to the lake, let's get in the sun. And it just helps so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Jo, what's next for me now? How long do you think?
Well, you're on to stage 2 now, and I'll just mention for stage 2, the tips are still keeping it pretty simple and lots of rest and the gentle exercise and all of that kind of thing. Gaps, one thing that you might not have tried yet, Fouad, is the GAP smoothie. Have you tried that?
No.
Oh, because you can start to have that pretty soon, I'm sure. It's got raw egg yolk and sour cream. Or is it stage 3? You can have carrot juice, I think. And then that makes a really beautiful smoothie. So that'll be coming up soon for you. And it's good for when, you need a bit of a pick-me-up.
Right. And so like a juice, egg yolks and sour cream?
Yeah.
GAP smoothie.
Yeah. So there's one recipe in the program, but if you go online, you'll find heaps of recipes for it. There's different, versions.
Well, mostly the question is when can I have it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you'll need to wait till you can have the carrot juice, and just be careful when you start introducing carrot juice, because oh my goodness, the first time you have carrot juice, it just goes, it went straight through us.
It says on GAPS Australia, the website, if the person's not prone to diarrhea, they may introduce the GAPS milkshake from the beginning, which is less like 1 carrot or 2 to 3 apples, or equivalent in pineapple.
Okay.
1 stick of salad.
Oh, we didn't do that. We just did carrot juice. And that was honestly so sweet, because we hadn't been having sweet stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
The kids were like, I can't believe how sweet this carrot juice is. So funny. So carrot juice is actually usually stage 4, But yeah, some people do, for some reason they say you can start the GAP smoothie earlier. So
yeah, I've seen a lot of people who say the juices, like the vegetable juices, okay in the early.
You're not having any of the fiber.
Yeah.
But as long as you've got that fat from the, the egg yolks and the sour cream, so that the sugar levels aren't too high.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. You'll enjoy that. Some people even make it into like a kind of an ice cream, because you can, which is really lovely for kids, because they just miss having something like that.
I'm going to go make it now. Can you keep going with the podcast?
Okay, I'll talk without you. Yeah. Let's talk about him, guys. No. Hey, he's back. Okay.
So, Jo, we've got a gut health retreat coming up.
We do. And there's going to be so much of all these kind of questions that everyone asks. You'll be able to ask in person at the retreat, because Mary Kelly will be there and we will be there. And Alex Stewart, with all her low tox wisdom, will be there. And my friend Emma, who is amazing with all the muscle stuff. So helping you to loosen up your fascia, get more flexible with your movement, strengthen the core, muscles in your body and do your relaxation, stretching, Pilates, functional movement. She's awesome with all that. She's a remedial therapist. So we'll have a lot of help at the gut health retreat for anyone who just needs that full-on help.
So the gut health retreat is in Melanda, the Atherton Tablelands.
Yeah. Where I live.
Close to where I live. Mm-hmm. And it's on the 28th, 29th, and 30th of April. Yeah. You have to arrive the day before those Cairns, and we're arranging accommodation for everyone in Cairns on the evening of the 27th. And then on Friday morning, which is the 28th, you come up in the bus that we've organized. We'll drop you off at the lodge where you put your stuff, and then straight to the retreat. And then we get started from there, where we teach you about all this stuff. We do cooking classes, and we do seminar-style talks where we get into the finer details of eating this way, and also looking more at whole foods and gut healing in a larger perspective, with all different aspects apart from just the food itself.
And so I just mentioned that it's good for anyone who wants to work on gut health, whether you're doing GAPS or not.
Yes.
The basic principles are the same for everyone, you know. So we'll obviously be serving GAPS food though.
Yeah. So all the food's catered, looked after. You're gonna have as much food as you want, and it's all gonna be something you don't have to worry about. It's all gonna be the best quality food.
And I think that's the good thing about this kind of retreat, because when you're at home, you're so busy with maybe the kids or work or just keeping the household running that it's hard to look after yourself. And I find a lot of parents will put themselves, well, most mothers do this, put themselves last because they're so busy looking after the kids, and then the mother's health goes down. And how are they supposed to look after the family and help the kids get well if they're not well? So I think this is really important for, you know, those of you out there that are struggling with your family's health and getting kids on track with health. You know, look after yourself too. And this sort of retreat helps you just to take a step back and relax and take the time you need to get yourself on track, and also to know how to help your family better.
Perfect. It's going to be perfect for people who just need that time away. Focus. We're going to put the technology aside and just focus on ourselves for once, and just really immerse ourselves into a healing space where we just heal and learn and
get out in the sunshine and swim and
the best part of Australia ever as well.
So true.
I love it. I'm going to move to the Atherton Tablelands.
I wish you would, because, you know, there's lots of beautiful waterfalls, and I like tempt everybody with my photos on Instagram. Yeah. My daughter says, "Mum, stop telling everybody how wonderful it is. They'll all move here."
The Sydney real estate boom will go happen in the Tablelands and not happens anymore.
Well, they do say that Cairns is going to be the #1 tourist destination for 2017 in Australia. So there you go. Yep. Set to be #1.
Yeah.
But not everyone that goes to Cairns comes up here, because we're a bit out of the way.
That's so much nicer than Cairns.
So much nicer.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would love for you guys to come along and join us. And we have 2 retreats booked in. So one at the end of April and one at the start of June. And we do want to do more during the year. We'll see how these go, hey?
Yeah. So if you want more information, either email us at help@quirkycooking.com.au or go to the website. There's more information. There's a banner on the homepage that you can click, and you'll be able to go to the retreat details. Yeah. So you can see all the lovely photos.
You can come and see if Fouad's looking amazing after being on GAPS for 2 months.
Yeah, it'll be 2 months by then. I'm expecting to have my hair like really
growing
long.
Back.
Yeah, floating kind of. Yeah.
Or that gelatine would be good for your hair.
That would be amazing. To have my hair again. No, I'm pretty happy with my hair,
seriously. It is amazing for your skin. And that is probably the biggest comment that I've had on my health. When people see me, they go, "Oh my goodness, your skin is like glowing, and you just look so much better."
You do, Joe. Like,
Thank you.
Definitely, well, when you went from eating just whole foods to GAPS, you really like took a leap in your health, and it was amazing to see.
I did.
You filled up.
I actually have some weight on me now.
Yeah, good. Same for people like that. So knew you before and now.
Yeah.
What did that say? I'm not going to get into it. That woman who knew you from school.
Yeah, from work from 20 years ago. What did she say? You're not. You always looked so haggard, and I don't know. I was like 21. I shouldn't have looked haggard. But now I look better than when I was 21, apparently. So there you go. Do GAPS, guys.
Go to GAPS at quirkycooking.com.au and have a look at our program. And I think you really, really benefit from the offering of the program. Once off lifetime subscription for the program, so you can see that there. Just would love to hear from you. If you join the group because of the podcast, please let us know. We'd love to know where you come from, and we'd be very happy to be engaged in your journey on the Facebook group as well, to be able to help you out and assist you there.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about anything we've talked about, or about the gut health retreat, about the program, about our new book, feel free to contact us on help@quirkycooking.com.au. We love hearing from you, and we do want to answer your questions, so let us know.
If you get the cookbook next week, if you've already bought it and you get it.
I'm so excited.
Tag us on social media.
Please take photos. Take photos of things you make. Take photos of you getting excited with your book. We want to see. We're both so excited about just when people get it, what their reaction is going to be. So we want to see your reactions, please.
I have to go and take 45 cookbooks now to my friend Jihan, who put an order in.
Oh, she's going to be bursting through the ceiling with excitement.
Pretty cool.
So we want to see some unboxing videos. You know how on YouTube they do those unboxing videos? It's mostly kids.
I'll do that for Jihan's unboxing her.
Could you please? That would be so fun. So have a look on the Quirky Cooking chat group, because that's probably the main place that people will be posting their photos. But you can post them on our on the Quirky Cooking Facebook page as well. It's just in the chat group, everybody sees them, so it's great. But we will definitely share some excitement with you all, I'm sure.
Awesome. I'll keep you guys updated with my journey as the future podcasts come through. And if you have any questions, email me or Joe at help@quirkycooking.com.au, and we'd love to hear from you and to be able to help you in any way we can.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your journey with us, Fouad.
Thanks, Jojo. Thanks for helping me out with this.
Anytime. All right. See you guys. See you next time.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives.
Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.